living, and I am gonna blow up your spot one of these days.
Nicki Minaj lit up social media in full attack mode, putting Jay-Z on blast and claiming he allegedly owes her up to $200 million connected to the title deal, while using Roc Nation to quietly freeze her momentum. Jay-Z, meanwhile, hasn't said a word, not a single public response to any of it. But listen to this. Nicki didn't just speak out, she turned the heat all the way up, waving what she says are receipts, major accusations, and zero hesitation. So yeah, let's unpack this. The title money, that massive $200 million figure, and the Super Bowl tension. Hold up, before we go any further, we have to talk about the cash, because money is usually what sparks these industry wars between Nicki and Hav. And when we say money, we're not talking about pocket change or some minor contract dispute. We're talking legacy-level wealth, hundreds of millions, no cap. To really see it from Nicki's side, you've got to rewind back to 2015. That was the year Jay-Z introduced Tidal, marketing it as an artist-owned rival to Spotify and Apple Music. At the time, the concept sounded groundbreaking, a platform where artists controlled their own revenue streams. Jay-Z packed the rollout with superstar names to sell the vision: Beyoncé, Rihanna, J. Cole, Kanye West, Madonna, and you won't believe this, Nicki Minaj. Each artist was reportedly given a 3% ownership share in the company. In exchange, they were expected to provide exclusives, promote the platform non-stop, and publicly back the brand without hesitation. And Nicki fully committed. She didn't hold back. She became one of Tidal's most vocal supporters, arguably right behind Beyoncé. She pushed it heavily on social media. She delivered exclusive releases. She showed up at that now iconic launch event, standing alongside Usher, Rihanna, Madonna, and others, looking like they were about to change streaming forever. The energy in that room was undeniable. Those artists truly believed they were building something historic. But here's where everything flips. In 2021, Jay-Z sold the majority of Tidal to Jack Dorsey's company Square, now called Block, for roughly $32 million in cash and stock. That's a massive payout by any measure. Now do the quick math. Nicki's reported 3% shares should have been worth about $9 million at minimum. That's not rumor, that's simple arithmetic. But according to Nicki Minaj, she never received anything, not a single cent. She alleges Jay-Z's side instead offered her only $1 million, basically a quiet settlement to move on. She called it disrespectful, insulting, and straight-up theft in broad daylight. On X, she spoke boldly, saying, "We've calculated about 100 to 200 million so far. Hashtag Jay-Z, call me to settle this karmic debt. It's only collecting more interest. You still in my top 5, though. Let's get it." Even warning fans about calling him Hav. And once that statement hit the internet, the Breakfast Club stepped in and kept it real. They raised the question many people were already thinking but hesitant to say out loud. If someone truly owed you $200 million, why take it to social media instead of the courtroom?
No idea about their business, but if someone owed me $200 million, then I would be in court, not on X. And I guarantee you, if she ever took that to court, that would be a huge story.
Real talk, that's actually a fair question. At this moment, there's no lawsuit filed, no paperwork in court, no scheduled hearings, just tweets taking over the timeline. But listen to this, and it's important. Those tweets didn't come off messy or impulsive. Nicki wasn't just throwing claims around hoping something would stick. She laid out what looked like a detailed case against Jay-Z's entire operation, piece by piece, layer by layer. Then she pushed it even further, alleging Jay had damaged nearly everything the culture holds dear. Hip-hop, football, basketball, touring, Instagram, Twitter. She posted, "Dear fake Jay-Z, you ruined hip-hop, you ruined football, you ruined basketball, you ruined touring, you ruined Instagram, you ruined Twitter." The message was clear. The jig is up. She also made a point to clarify that everything was alleged and strictly for entertainment purposes. The Breakfast Club crew watched it unfold and were stunned by the whole situation. The entire studio ended up laughing in pure disbelief.
Hashtag Jay-Z, you ruined hip-hop, you ruined football, you ruined basketball, you ruined touring, you ruined Instagram, you ruined Twitter. The jig is up. All of this is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. And she also is saying, she's mentioning Desiree, who is one of Jay-Z's.
You might as well say Jay-Z's the head of Doge. Jay-Z invaded Gaza. You might as well just come on, add some more to that, nigga.
Under all the jokes, reactions, and meme vibes, the title money issue is dead serious. If Nicki Minaj really owned a 3% stake in a company that sold for $32 million and was allegedly offered a quiet $1 million payout when the math points closer to at least $9 million, that's major. And she says the real value climbs much higher when you include promotion, branding, and long-term impact. That's not some minor mix-up between business partners. That's corporate-level foul play. And in street language, that's a straight violation. Nicki also stated that when she finally receives that money from Jay-Z, she plans to fund her Chakran Student of the Game charity, aimed at helping fans pay tuition and student loans. So from her perspective, this isn't only about her own wealth. She's arguing Jay-Z is taking from the barbs, taking from students who need that support to secure their future. That angle hit differently. It turned a business dispute into a moral argument. And the title controversy wasn't even the only reason Nicki was heated. Now, let's shift to the Super Bowl. In September 2024, the NFL revealed Kendrick Lamar as the headliner for the Super Bowl LIX halftime show in New Orleans. And for anyone tuned into hip-hop culture, that announcement felt like a gut punch to one person, Lil Wayne. Wayne represents New Orleans. Born there, raised there, shaped by that city's spirit. He's the heartbeat, the energy, a certified legend, one of the top 5 rappers to ever grab a mic. And the Super Bowl was happening in his own city. Everybody, and I mean everybody, thought Wayne had that slot secured. It seemed automatic. Wayne, New Orleans, Super Bowl, it practically writes itself. But Roc Nation helps produce the Apple Music NFL halftime show, which means Jay-Z's influence is tied to that decision. And when Kendrick's name was announced instead of Wayne's, people instantly had questions. Nicki exploded. She unleashed a full rant aimed directly at Jay-Z on X, accusing him of blocking a black man's rightful moment because of ego. She claimed his tensions with Birdman, Drake, and herself were spilling over onto Lil Wayne. She called Wayne the GOAT. She shouted out New Orleans directly. And then she brought Eminem into the conversation, noting how M insisted on bringing 50 Cent out during his moment in the Super Bowl, a white man. That line cut deep. She was essentially arguing a white artist showed more loyalty to his circle than Jay-Z showed to his own. Whether you agree with Nicki or not, that point landed. Wayne being overlooked in his own town didn't sit right with many people, not just the barbs. Street voices, industry insiders, casual fans, everyone weighed in, and Nicki framed it as part of a bigger pattern. She believes Jay-Z used Roc Nation's influence to quietly sideline anyone connected to her circle: Wayne, Drake, Birdman, herself. The Super Bowl decision became the most visible example, and it paved the way for everything that followed, from Monster to modern-day conflict. Now, here's what many people overlook when they see Nicki going at Jay-Z online. This isn't random Twitter drama. They share real history, deep, complicated, layered history stretching back over 15 years. And that context is why this fallout feels so personal. Let's rewind to 2009. Kanye West released Monster with a stacked lineup: Jay-Z, Rick Ross, Bon Iver, and a young Nicki Minaj still rising from the mixtape scene. But when the track dropped, it wasn't Jay or Ross who stole the spotlight. It was Nicki. She dominated that beat. Her Monster verse is still considered one of the greatest guest verses in hip-hop history. It told the world she wasn't here to play backup for anyone, not even Hove. Jay-Z noticed her talent early, before the global superstardom. He attempted to sign her to Roc Nation. He recognized the potential. He wanted her on his team. But Nicki chose loyalty over opportunity. She chose Lil Wayne and Young Money. She stayed with those who believed in her first. Some insiders think that choice planted the first tension between Nicki and Jay-Z, a seed that slowly grew, but eventually became the massive clash we're witnessing now. Even after she declined Roc Nation, Jay continued showing public support. In 2010, he personally recommended Nicki for Robin Thicke's Shakin' It for Daddy. She later described that cosign as one of the biggest moments of her early career. That same year, she performed alongside Jay-Z and Eminem at Yankee Stadium during the Home and Home shows, becoming the first female rapper to ever grace that stage. That's history-level impact. and Jay provided that platform. In interviews back then, Nicki spoke about Jay-Z with real respect. When asked about her biggest influences, she named him first without hesitation.
Also said that Jay-Z, Foxy Brown, and Lil Wayne were some of your biggest influences when you were coming up. What did each of them have that you wanted to emulate?
Jay-Z, business savvy. Foxy Brown, immaculate delivery. Lil Wayne, trendsetter.
What Nicki admired most about Jay-Z wasn't only the bars, it was the mind behind them, the strategy, his talent for turning rap into a worldwide business empire. To her, he embodied the blueprint, pun intended, of rising from the projects to billionaire status while still keeping street credibility intact. She was so influenced by her journey that she modeled her 2014 album, The Pink Print, after his legendary Blueprint series. That wasn't random. That wasn't subtle. That was a calculated salute from someone who truly respected him and saw herself following the path he created. As time moved forward, their connection remained wrapped in mutual respect and professional distance. In 2012, they sat close together at the BET Awards, separated only by Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. Pure elite energy. Inner circle positioning. In 2015, they stood side by side at the Tidal launch, promoting a shared vision of artist ownership and empowerment. And as recently as 2022, Jay-Z and Beyoncé sent flowers to Nicki after she received the MTV Video Vanguard Award. Nicki thanked them publicly. That was the dynamic. Friendly on the surface, occasionally generous, professionally respectful. So what shifted? What transformed admiration into tension? What turned a mentee's respect into a full-scale scorched-earth social media assault? The first cracks appeared around 2021, right after the Tidal sale closed and the money didn't land where Nicki believed it should. That's when she started hinting, quietly at first, that she felt shortchanged. By September 2024, those hints became direct accusations aimed squarely at Jay-Z and his entire operation. And by July 2025, she was posting exact numbers, 100 million, 200 million, naming names, tagging people, challenging anyone to deny it publicly. But then it stopped being only about money. Nicki shifted her attention straight to Roc Nation CEO Desiree Perez. She mocked her name, questioned her history, and referenced everything from her Trump pardon on drug charges to whether she should lead one of entertainment's most powerful companies. Nicki accused Roc Nation of blackballing artists who refused to comply, of recruiting talent from rival labels through questionable tactics, of deploying bot networks to limit her online engagement, of claiming they quietly manipulated Billboard chart data. She claimed they sabotaged her documentary because it exposed industry abuse. She said they delayed her projects intentionally, hoping she'd lose money and return desperate. These weren't minor claims. These were accusations of organized, systematic career sabotage. DJ Academics analyzed the situation on his platform, highlighting just how deep and how one-sided the feud had become. He explained that Nicki was essentially launching a parallel offensive targeting Jay-Z, and he reminded viewers that, according to Nicki, everything traces back to the Tidal situation. She believes Jay-Z outmaneuvered her. She's also claimed Jay-Z owes her $200 million. And if you followed her posts over the past year, especially after she started targeting Desiree Perez, she's accused Roc Nation of attempting some extremely dark moves against her. At this stage, Academics made it clear, this isn't a minor disagreement. This is a deep, public, unresolved war. And here's the key detail. Jay-Z has never responded. Not once. No tweet. No statement from Roc Nation. No subliminal lyric. No vague Instagram post. Total silence. Some interpret that silence as Jay-Z staying above the chaos. Boss-level composure. Refusing to validate the noise with a reply. That's one viewpoint. But others, Nicki included, see it differently. Because if someone publicly claims you owe them $200 million and you never deny it, what message does that send? Either you're so confident the accusations are baseless they're not worth responding to, or there's enough truth there that responding could open doors you'd rather keep closed. Their story feels like a hip-hop Shakespearean tragedy. Admiration, collaboration, mutual benefit. Then complete scorched earth conflict, and through everything, Jay-Z's silence. Somehow, that silence might be the loudest presence in the entire story. Now bring in the Grammy fallout, the political shift, and what followed next. If you thought the title accusations and the Super Bowl snub were the peak of Nicki Minaj versus Jay-Z, listen to this. What unfolded at the 2026 Grammy Awards pushed everything into a new dimension. This wasn't just industry tension anymore. This was a cultural shockwave, and Nicki Minaj stood at the center of it. Phone in hand, conviction locked, zero hesitation. February 1st, 2026, the 68th Annual Grammy Awards, Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles. Every major artist present, except one, Nicki Minaj. She wasn't nominated, she wasn't scheduled to perform, she wasn't presenting an award, she didn't even attend. And yet, without question, she became the most talked about, most analyzed, most searched name on the internet that night. Google Trends confirmed it. Nicki Minaj was the most searched artist during the live Grammy broadcast. She never entered the building, but the moment still revolved around her. Everything ignited during the opening monologue. Host Trevor Noah delivered a calculated, deliberate jab at Nicki with the entire industry watching under arena lights, and he didn't hold back. He leaned all the way in. He joked that everyone was present, John Legend, Phineas, except Nicki Minaj. "She's not here," he said. Then came the punchline. He claimed she was still at the White House with Donald Trump discussing important issues. Then he doubled down with exaggerated jokes about himself having the biggest backside in the room. The cameras cut immediately to the audience. Chrissy Teigen leaned back laughing. John Legend smiled broadly. The room erupted. It wasn't subtle. The message was unmistakable. The industry was openly mocking Nicki for her political shift. And Nicki was watching, in real time, from wherever she was. Her reaction came instantly. Savage. Unstoppable. What followed felt like something hip-hop had never seen play out online. While the Grammys were still broadcasting live nationwide, Nicki unleashed post after post after post across X, dozens on dozens. It hit like a verbal Gatling gun spraying in every direction. She aimed directly at Trevor Noah. She turned toward Chrissy Teigen with intensely personal accusations. She went at Lizzo with cutting remarks about weight loss, album performance, and legal drama. She blasted the Democratic Party entirely, repeatedly calling them Democrats. And yes, she targeted Jay-Z. Harder, sharper, more personal than ever. She posted that powerful elites were sacrificing children to keep control. She warned people never to vote Democrat again, claiming moral destruction would follow. She alleged major artists were involved in satanic rituals tied to blood sacrifice. She claimed babies were being trafficked, harmed, and killed. She said when your master is Satan, blood must be spilled. And she declared the truth was finally exposed. She also circled back to familiar claims. She said her documentary was blocked because it exposed abuse she endured. She insisted her projects were deliberately delayed to drain her financially and force her return. She warned those in power still believed everything was a joke, and she promised what comes next won't be funny. That's heavy, extremely heavy. These weren't typical rap feud accusations. This pushed far beyond industry politics. And to be absolutely clear for viewers, none of these claims have been proven. There are no legal filings, no criminal probes, no evidence presented to support them. What they do confirm, without debate, is the total collapse of any remaining connection between Nicki Minaj and Jay-Z. This isn't just an artist frustrated over a contract anymore. This is someone who believes she confronted an entire power structure and chose to burn every bridge on the way out. But the Grammy eruption didn't appear out of thin air. It followed years of escalation, months of alignment with Donald Trump and conservative politics, and that shift is a major reason the backlash reached nuclear intensity. In December 2025, Nicki appeared at Turning Point USA's America Fest. She delivered a passionate speech about her Christian beliefs, her support for Trump, her frustration with industry pressure and public bullying, and the importance of independent thinking for young people. She said Trump gave people hope that evil could be defeated, that integrity could endure, that you could stand tall. She connected with him personally, noting they both came from Queens. She spoke about being publicly misrepresented, about how the joke stops being funny when you become the target. Then, in January 2026, she intensified things again. She appeared alongside Trump at a Treasury Department summit. They introduced Trump accounts, an investment program for children. She held his hand on stage, called herself his #1 supporter, displayed a gold Trump card, and announced her citizenship paperwork was being finalized. In a later podcast appearance, Nicki explained that watching Trump endure non-stop public attacks reflected her own experience. She said the parallels felt deeply personal. She admitted the backlash only strengthened her support for him. The response was immediate and harsh. Online petitions calling for her deportation surpassed 120,000 signatures. LGBTQ+ fans, many central to her rise, expressed deep betrayal. Former supporters accused her of abandoning the community that defended her for years. Celebrities quietly distanced themselves. Industry peers stopped speaking publicly. And that Grammy night rant became the defining image of Nicki Minaj's 2026 public persona. But here's the context quick social media rarely acknowledges. Nicki's political shift didn't happen overnight. It wasn't random. It didn't come out of nowhere. She's felt pushed out of the industry for years. The title dispute was one wound.